Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking into a really interesting shift happening in tech and investment over in South Korea. It's a place that moves fast digitally, as you know. And our main focus, well, is how generative AI looks, set to really shake things up between two huge tech companies there, Kakao and Naver. It's a pivotal moment for them.
Yeah, the core of our discussion today comes from a pretty fresh outlook from the U.S. investment bank Goldman Sachs. And their analysis has definitely caused a stir. So our mission here is to unpack what Goldman Sachs is saying, kind of get behind their reasoning for changing their ratings on these two, and figure out what it all might mean for search, for AI services going forward. And really, this isn't just about stocks moving up or down. It points to maybe a fundamental change in how we all end up using AI and search, day to day. Let's try and get you ahead of the curve on this one. Okay, so let's kick off with the big news. Goldman Sachs' move. They've bumped up Kakao's target price quite a bit to 85,000 KRW. That's up from 57,500 KRW.
Wow, that's nearly a, 48% potential jump?
Exactly, and they put a buy rating back on it. But then, almost in the same breath, they did the opposite for Naver. Downgraded their opinion from buy down to neutral. That's quite a statement.
Oh, yeah. And the market reacted, instantly. This was July 17th. Kakao shares went up about 2.5%.
And
Never dropped 2.6%. Predictable, maybe, but still shows the impact. People definitely paid attention.
Okay, let's get into it then. What's the thinking behind this? What's making Goldman Sachs so bullish on Kakao? And, what's the bigger picture here for AI?
Right. So Goldman's optimism for Kakao seems to boil down to a few key things. First, just their sheer reach. They've got something like 95% mobile coverage in South Korea. That's massive.
Incredible penetration.
It really is. Second, they've got that strategic partnership with OpenAI, which is obviously a big name. And third, maybe the most crucial part, Goldman sees a really high chance Kakao can successfully launch what they're calling consumer generative AI, or CGen AI.
CGen AI.
Yeah, and they think Kakao can pull this off because they already have such a strong brand and, importantly, a really good track record with user interface and user experience. People trust their services.
Now, this is where I thought it got really interesting. The connection to how people in Korea actually use this stuff. It's different, right? How does Kakao tap into that?
That's a key point. It seems Korean users, more than in other places, tend to use generative AI, well, for fun, for entertainment, emotional content. It's not just about getting facts or writing emails.
Ah, okay. Less utilitarian, more experiential.
Exactly. And that preference, it plays right into Kakao's strengths because Kakao Talk, their main platform, is already fundamentally about communication, often emotional communication. So integrating AI there could create something pretty unique, something people want to engage with.
Makes sense. Connect AI to where the users already are emotionally.
Precisely. And Goldman actually gave an example. They suggested that if Kakao integrated things like, say, the Ghibli effect, that visual style into the messenger.
Oh, wow. Like AI-generated Ghibli-style images in chat.
Something like that. Engaging features like that could seriously boost the number of people using AI daily. It moves beyond just asking questions. It becomes part of the fun, the expression.
I can see that catching on. What about the money side? Did Goldman put numbers on this?
They did. They're projecting Kakao's AI could grab about a 9 percentage point share of the search ad market by 2030. That's taking a slice from the incumbents.
9 points is significant.
It is. And they also forecast cumulative extra revenue of about $801 million. That's a roughly 1.1 trillion Korean won, just from what they term agentic AI services.
Agentic AI, so AI that does things for you.
Yeah, essentially AI assistants that can take actions on your behalf. They see that bringing in significant new money for Kakao between 2025 and 2030. Big numbers, definitely.
Okay, that's a compelling case for Kakao.
So
What about Naver? If Kakao's AI is potentially eating into search ads, that must hit Naver right where it hurts, given search is their bread and butter.
That's exactly Goldman's reasoning for the downgrade. They believe Kakao Talk's generative AI service is likely to have the biggest negative impact precisely on Naver's search business.
A direct threat.
A direct threat. And they put it in a wider context, too. Looking globally, the big internet companies, their search growth is expected to be, well, pretty modest in the next few years, somewhere between -2% and +9%.
Not exactly explosive growth.
No. And the price-to-earnings ratios, the PE multiples for those search businesses, usually fall between 5 times and 11 times earnings.
Okay.
So based on that and the new competition from Kakao's AI, Goldman slashed Naver's appropriate PE multiple for its search platform. They dropped it from 13x down to 7x.
Ouch, from 13 to 7. That's a big valuation cut.
It reflects that competitive threat and just slower growth expectations, and that more conservative view on Naver's core moneymaker search revenue that directly led them to the neutral rating.
Right. It paints a pretty clear picture of winners and potential losers, at least in this forecast. But, these big predictions, they always have caveats, don't they? Things that could derail the forecast.
Absolutely, and Goldman Sachs, to their credit, pointed out a couple of important ones themselves. First is simply user habits, or inertia.
People sticking with what they know.
Exactly. KakaoTalk's AI might be great, but will people actually switch from the search engines they've used for years? Habits are, incredibly hard to break. That's a real risk.
True. Even with a better product sometimes. What else?
The other big one is regulation. There's always the potential for new rules around AI, especially AI that uses sensitive data, like your location maybe, that could put brakes on certain features or business models.
Ah, the regulatory overhang.
Yeah.
Always a factor with new tech.
It is, and it really makes you think, doesn't it? How much will these things, ingrained habits, future regulations, how much will they actually shape the adoption curve and the real-world impact, regardless of how good the tech itself is?
Yeah, that's a crucial point. So just to wrap up our deep dive here, the main takeaway is Goldman Sachs sees this major shakeup coming in South Korea's tech world. Kakao, fueled by generative AI, is poised to challenge Naver's long-standing dominance in search. And zooming out, the bigger picture is maybe we're really stepping into a time where AI gets woven right into our daily chats, our communication apps, changing how we find stuff online, how we interact.
It certainly feels that way. And perhaps a final thought for you to chew on, building on this, but really strikes you about how this AI shift might change not just search, but communication connection itself, especially when that emotional content angle seems to be such a powerful driver for getting people on board,